Ever come across a YouTube channel that makes its presentation quite legit that it seems like its claims are good? Meet Prager U. This pseudoscientific channel just released a new video claiming some of the benefits of belief, so let's take a look.
If God exists, then the world didn't just evolve by chance, but by deliberate design.
By chance? Nobody actually claims that. There are explanations to why this universe didn't come from chance. What is with creation is saying that atheists claim the world came from chance. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
There's an artist behind this incredible work of art, this big and beautiful world.
No, you don't have any evidence for that claim, so sit down, son.
If God exists, we're living in a great story, an epic like The Lord of the Rings, with real heroes and heroic tasks.
What, the ultimate task is to go to heaven? And the only way to do that is to worship Jesus? I don't know how you Christians don't see how narcissistic your God is. He created us humans and commanded us to worship him, otherwise you go to hell. What the fuck kind of God is that?
Ultimately, all the twists and turns of this epic narrative will be paid off. Everything will make sense. It will even have a happy ending. Not necessarily, or even likely in our own lifetime.
Everything makes sense? No. So little makes sense in your fabricated story. And what do you mean by everything? As if there's something that we don't know if Christianity is real? Oh yeah, like why God is so narcissistic and why he allowed all these natural disasters and horrible diseases to exist? Yeah, so when I go to heaven, those will be answered for me? Huh? Doubt it.
Even Moses didn't get into the promised land.
Yeah, what the fuck was that all about? When I first read the Bible and I got to the part where God just puts Moses on top of a hill to let him die, I was like, what the fuck? So basically, God chose this representative, who by the way did not initially want to do God's dirty work, to free the slaves from Egypt and then lead the people to a chosen land for years and years. During this trip, Moses received so much shit and he worked so hard, and at the end he doesn't even get to go to the promised land? And to make it worse, God teased him by putting him on top of a hill to look down upon the promised land right before he died just to fuck with him? Oh my god, I'd be so pissed if I were Moses.
But over the grand course of time, in an afterlife, which exists as surely as God exists.
So it doesn't exist.
If God exists, the presence of evil, hard as it is to accept, makes sense. God allows it for a reason. Namely, to preserve our free will.
You Christians love to justify evil by saying it preserves our free will. But let's be honest here, why couldn't God just give us no tendency to commit evil acts that would still preserve our free will? It's just that we wouldn't want to do these things. Okay, let's back up a bit. What exactly do you mean by free will? This term is so vaguely defined. Would you say that someone with a severe mental disability has free will, even if this person can't think to a regular human's full capacity? What about in the past when people had their connections between their left and right brain hemispheres severed? What resulted was that people's left hands would move by themselves without the person's permission. See, normally the left and right brain communicate with each other and the left can easily control the right brain. But once this connection is severed, the left brain no longer has control over the right. We still are conscious as the left brain because it controls logic and thinking. However, our control over the right brain and thus our left hand is compromised. You would see your left hand do so many things that you are against, such as knocking away a food you don't like. People say this situation really reveals the true feelings or intentions of individuals, since the right brain is more emotion driven. Now to the reason I brought this up. Where's the free will in this? The right brain is literally controlling itself, but it's still part of you. You have no free will to control it. And if this is so, why wouldn't we say we have free will over the left brain too? Very complicated, isn't it? I personally am a believer that free will never really truly exists. We as human beings have tendencies and we follow these desires and motivations. The fact that we can think about it doesn't mean we have free will. Our decisions may have been guided by our own nature, our personalities, etc. There really is no reason to believe we have free will. Of course, this would differ depending on how you define free will, so when you Christians say we have free will, that's an awfully vague term and you should really rethink your position. You can start off by defining this vague term free will. It really would help us all out.
and God will reconcile all injustices in the end.
Not really. According to your religion, people who have committed horrible acts, such as Hitler, will go to the same place as atheists. Unless there are different levels of hell and heaven, which you Christians never mentioned before. I mean, at least other mythologies, such as Greek mythology, sort of define their levels of hell. So since you Christians never mentioned such a thing, I'm going to assume Hitler and atheists receive the same punishment.
If there is no God, life is one big crapshoot.
No.
If God does exist, morality is a real, objective feature of the world.
Morality is real, sure, but definitely not objective. If it were objective, I would love to see you explain why different societies have different morals. Because they don't, motherfucker.
If there is no God, morality is just the rules we make up for this little game of life that we play.
We agree as a society on what is moral and what's not, and our sense of morality came from millions and millions of years of evolutionary success. Even animals have morals, so please shut the fuck up, you prick.
If God exists, love is the nature of an eternal reality.
Nature of an eternal reality. You can say love can become a part of an eternal reality, but it certainly wouldn't be a nature of an eternal reality. Do you guys even write scripts for this shit?
If there is no God, love is just a fleeting feeling, no more than a bunch of chemical and neurological interactions.
Don't try to make it sound lame, you little bitch. It's really truly fascinating once you get to the science behind it.
If God exists, you are of infinite value.
Infinite value? I'm sorry, if everyone's of infinite value, then no one is.
He knows you as a parent knows his child. He's accessible to you.
Oh, I didn't know parents killed millions of their children through natural disasters and horrible diseases.
If there is no God, each of us is as insignificant as a rock on an unknown planet.
We make our own significance, and that's what makes it beautiful. We don't need some stupid God to tell us we're special. We determine ourselves that we are special. Except you're a different kind of special, aren't you?
If God exists, death is conquered, because if there is a God, there is a reality outside of space and time.
Okay, but we're going to need some evidence for that claim. For all we know, there may be something outside space and time, but we're not going to believe it until it is scientifically proven.
If there is no God, there is nothing immortal, and all the good things in life are destroyed forever.
Okay, so just because it doesn't have a happy ending means it's not true? You Christians love this one. Oh man, I don't like it, so it's not true.
You and everyone you love and everything you think matters are all consigned to oblivion. If there is no God, life is pointless. Everything we've done and lived for will ultimately be in vain.
The way you are presenting this right now is as if being Christian automatically makes these things true for you, but it's not, okay? Also, just because everything will be in vain eventually does not mean we shouldn't make humanity better today. The thing is, we atheists at least look at reality in the face and we learn to deal with it. Even if everything eventually is destroyed at the end, we will work to make the present as great as possible. Meanwhile, religious people are chasing after an imaginary afterlife. You tell me which one's better.
Can I prove with an absolute certainty that God exists? I can make the case that overwhelming evidence suggests that he does, but no, I can't prove that he exists with absolute certainty.
No, you don't have any evidence, piece of shit liar.
That's likely part of his plan.
Yeah, his plan is to give no evidence for his presence, then send all who don't acknowledge his existence into hell. What a fantastic bedtime story.
God deliberately doesn't give us absolute proof, so that we're free to choose or not to choose to believe in him.
So is that also the case for Lord Vishnu? Did he deliberately not give us proof of his existence to test our faith and give us a choice on whether or not to believe in him? Bottom line, if there's no evidence, your claim is dismissed. Case closed.
So which way do you want to go? Be honest, doesn't your heart at least hope that there is a good God? A transcendent validator of love and all the highest human values? Of course it does.
First of all, your God did some horrible things in the Old Testament. Secondly, of course we all wish there's some magical, great, loving, supernatural being watching us and making sure everything is going okay. However, that doesn't exactly fit into the definition of your Christian God. Your God just watches indifferently at the world, almost as if he isn't here. Thirdly, just because we want something to be true doesn't make it true. Like, for instance, I wish my animator could have made my head a little smaller. Like, I even had someone in the fucking comments section say my head was too big in one of my previous videos. God damn it.
Why would anyone not wish that life has some ultimate purpose?
We do have purposes, we just make our own purposes.
That good and evil are real.
I don't know why anyone would want good and evil to be real. Yeah, let's just move on.
That there is ultimate justice.
Okay, ultimate justice would be great, but certainly not the ultimate justice that your religion provides. Like, why would people going to heaven or hell largely depend on whether or not you believed in God? That's some pretty messed up justice there. If I were ever to be judged after I die, I would like to be judged on what kind of person I was in my life and the things I did, not who or what I believed in.
That our love for others means something.
It does mean something.
If you choose to live as if there is a God, even if you're not sure that there is a God, you'll lose nothing and you gain everything.
Here it comes with Pascal's wager. You know why I hate Pascal's wager? Because it only considers two possibilities. Either the Christian God exists or he doesn't. But it completely disregards the infinite number of possibilities that could exist. What if the Greek gods are real? What if there's actually a pink elephant that sends everyone to heaven? What if we reincarnate? What if? There's so many possibilities. It's not just on whether or not the Christian God exists. And what if Islam is the right religion? Then you and I are both going to hell.
Religious Christians and Jews are happier, live longer, and are more charitable than their less observant or secular fellow citizens.
I'm not going to bother to look up the validity of these statistics, but basically what you guys are saying is that you should believe because it makes you happier, not because it's the truth. Well, I'm sorry, I'd rather know the truth than to be happy. I'm not going to use ignorance just because it makes me feel a little bit better.
If you've been an atheist for a while, it may be difficult for you to change your thinking, even if you find some merit in the many rational arguments for God's existence.
No, we are honest. Bring us some scientific evidence and we will believe. And I mean real scientific evidence. Not stuff like, look around you, it's beautiful. Like actual evidence.
But you can change your behavior. You can live as if God exists, even if you hold doubts. Why not? As I said, you'll lose nothing and you have everything to gain.
Actually, no, we lose a lot. For all we know, this is the only life we have. I'm not going to waste my life worshipping an imaginary being. I'm going to live my life how I want to. Here's the bottom line. There is no evidence for any of the religions out there. Why dedicate your life to something that most certainly does not exist? We should operate based on what we can prove and what we know. If we don't know about anything after death, why waste your life? There's so much to do and so many places to go. Our physical world here is very beautiful. And we are only here for a number of years. Enjoy what is given to us. If there is an afterlife, enjoy it when you get there. But for now, this is all we have.